Hey guys, I wanted to do a video on my birth and why I wanted a vbac. I made 4 of them, and each one is like 5 minutes less than the one before, but it's still too long, so this is going to be really fast. I might be talking really fast. My pregnancy was great. I had a massive amount of stretch marks that maybe I'll show you when I'm farther along and they don't look all ooey and gooey. I got like 1 rib kick. I puked once. I barely had any nausea, although I was very hungry for like the first 2 trimesters. I gained 70 pounds with Ryder. I topped out at 210. I started at 135. I don't know if that's 70 pounds. Anyways. My doctor thought I had preeclampsia, or kept telling me he thought I might have preeclampsia, and they got me so freaked out about it. I kept going to the hospital like once a week, and the nurse was like, "Honey, I'm so sorry he has you so riled up, but you have no symptoms. Like your blood pressure is fine, everything's fine." And so that was a really big deal. And so here's my birth story. At 38 weeks, I took some castor oil because I wanted the baby to come out, which I do not recommend. Don't do it. It doesn't, I mean, yeah, it started some contractions, but I think it's why I had a high break, which I'll explain everything with that. So I had some contractions, went to the hospital, the contractions were gone. I did not dilate at all, did not efface at all. I was exact same dilation, which I think was 1, as I was 37 weeks. So I went home. My mom came on Saturday, the next Saturday, and that Monday we were at Walmart, and I got like a gush. And so I thought it was just an normal pregnancy test, but it was like really, really moist. So I went to the bathroom and I checked, and there's no texture to it. It was just water. It just looked like water. And but it didn't go through my panties. Like my pants weren't wet at all. And so I go, "Mom, I think my water might have broken," because I know my friend Holly had a high break as well. And what happens is you break higher up in your belly, in your placenta, and it leaks out little by little, I guess. And so she's like, "You're crazy. Stop going to the hospital in 5 minutes. Your water didn't break. You're crazy. You'll be all over the floor." And I'm like, "Mom," and she's like, "No, you're not pregnant, or your water didn't break." So I call my husband and I tell him, and he's like, "No, you're crazy. Stop going to the hospital every 5 seconds. Just because it's free doesn't mean you have to go." And I'm like, all right. They had been right every other time, so I didn't go. One of the other reasons I didn't go was because I didn't keep getting wet. Like, my panties didn't stay wet continuously. You know what I mean? I didn't have to change them. So I don't know where all the water went. But Tuesday at 3:30, I went to my 39-week appointment, and my doctor was going to do an ultrasound to see the size of it. And he breaks out the wand, and he immediately goes, "There's no water in this baby." And I was like, "Oh, I think my water broke yesterday, but I haven't had any other like leaking, so I thought I was wrong." She was like, "Well, let me check." So we check, and he's like, "Yeah, your water broke." So he ends up yelling at me and my mother because I had asked him a couple questions, and he explained that, like, he answered my questions and said, "Hey, I really need to focus on the baby. Give me a second." So I started talking to my mom. Well, apparently, because he's focusing on the baby means that we can't talk at all. So he turns around and like yells at me and my mother that he can't focus on the baby when you guys are asking me questions and we weren't even talking to him. So I was pissed. But I mean, what am I gonna do? I live in a small town. There's not really doctors. I'm not gonna transfer the day I'm in labor. So he sends me to the hospital to get a Pitocin, and they put me on Pitocin, and I'm sitting in there. I wasn't allowed to eat. I hadn't eaten since 11 that morning, and it's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night, and they're wanting me to eat chicken broth. That's not. I'm pregnant. How are you gonna get 24 hours without letting me eat? But whatever, I couldn't do anything about it. I kept sneaking Twizzlers, and the nurses kept getting mad, and my mom didn't want to do it, and I didn't care. I was starving. So then I go to the bathroom, right, because I've got like an IV of Pitocin in me, and they don't lower my IV pole, so I'm sitting there like this, trying to go pee, 8 months or 9 months pregnant, just going like this, holding onto my stick or my pole as far as I can, so that I can go pee, reach, because they didn't lower it. I couldn't pull it into the bathroom, and I wasn't thinking about lowering it. Like, that was the last thought on my mind. And so they maxed me out Pitocin, nothing at all, no dilation. And at 5 o'clock in the morning, so Wednesday at 5 in the morning, they start coming in, and they're like, a lot. And I was like, "There's something wrong." And I'm like, "Hey, is there something wrong with my baby?" And they're like, "Oh, no, everything's fine." 5:30, 6 o'clock comes around, and my doctor comes in, he's like, hey, your son, his heart rate's dropping, we need to get him out now. We're going for a C-section at 6:30. I'm like, all right, well, there you go. And I was pissed because I had just asked if something was wrong, and if it was, then yeah, tell me. I hadn't freaked out at any point before this. And so, not that I was getting a C-section, because I figured at the time, like, I couldn't do anything else, which now I know was wrong. Like, I didn't know that at the time. So then, they go and get me all prepped up, and I get in there, and I've never broken a bone. I've never had a major surgery before this, and they couldn't wait 30 seconds until my husband got in the room. He said, hey, do you feel this? And I said, no. He goes, okay, we're starting. And I said, where's my husband? He goes, he'll be here in a second, hold on, and then just cut me open. I mean, come on. I was in the OR by myself with a bunch of people I didn't know, naked, for 20 minutes while they were prepping me and giving me all this stuff. I couldn't have my 3 minutes with my husband. And so he comes in, my husband finally comes in, and he couldn't hold my hand because I was like out on the table like this. So he puts his hand on my forehead, and he's like rubbing my forehead for 3 minutes. Ryder comes out, and of course I send him right away with Ryder. I'm not going to have him stay with me, watch the baby. So he leaves, and I'm like, hey, telling the anesthesiologist, I'm going to puke. And he's like, oh, hold on, hold your horses, you're fine. And then I end up puking all down the side of my face, my ear, my maternity ward gown or whatever. And he's like, wipes me off and sends me on my way. Like, I told you I was going to puke. Why weren't you there? There was just no consideration towards me at all. So then I leave, and the last thing I remember is smiling at the nurses. And I don't remember anything for 2 hours. Like, I don't remember a thing. I don't remember holding Ryder. I don't remember the look on Justin's face when he saw him for the first time or held him for the first time. I don't remember what Justin said to me or what my mom said to me or what it felt like to see my baby for the first time. And I'll never get that back. I'll never, ever, ever know how it felt to see him or to see my husband look at his child for the first time. Nothing that I do is ever going to change that. Hypnosis isn't going to bring it back. It's not just going to pop up one day. And then I was so high for the next day that I would drug talk. Like, have you ever seen the old guy or the drugged out guy walking down the street? He's like just barking at himself, and you don't even know what's going on, why he's doing that. I randomly shout things. That's what I was doing. Just randomly yelling at the nurses to get me tamales and telling my mom to kill her husband. And I would black out and wake up to holding Ryder. And I'd hold him the whole time. What if he'd fallen off the bed? What if I had twitched and he went that way? Like, he would breastfeed and I'd pass out and come to, and he would be what if he was dead? I had huge breaths. What if he had suffocated on him? And the nurses, who are supposed to be medically trained, apparently didn't realize that I was so high. I was literally rolling. Like, I was high. It wasn't pain medication. It was drugs. And I finally had to ask them to stop. And then them stopping it or slowing it down caused me to be in so much pain I could barely move to breastfeed in a comfortable position. And through the whole experience, all I thought was how wonderful it was I had my son. Like, I didn't think at the time, wow, is that really, wow. At the time, I was so overjoyed that I had my baby. I was so happy. And we got home, and I wonder how long it took Ryder to not be high. I mean, I was on pain meds at home for a week. It took me until I got off it took me 2 days after I stopped taking my pain pills before I looked at my son and was like, whoa, that's my son. That's my baby. I love that baby. Oh my God. Like that, crying, looking at them. Took me like a week and a half after he was born. Because I was so high. I still have pain in my right thigh from it. And I wonder how long it took him to look at me and really see me or feel me because he was high from breastfeeding. And, all the medicine they pumped into me before he was born. I don't remember his first cry. I was just talking to Justin about it, and I was like, babe, did he cry when he came out? And he was like, yeah, he cried really loud. The doctor thought the doctor said he got really good lung. I don't know that. I'll never know that. I'll never hear that again when it comes to Ryder. And I will hear it with my next baby. we're really nervous we won't be able to have a VBAC because we live 4 hours away from our midwife, and driving 4 hours once a month and then once every other week and once a week just isn't I don't know if we can do that. And there's a whole bunch of other stuff that's going on, that's going into that. So I'm going to keep doing this blog until we know for sure, but we might just do a home birth, like unassisted, or we have some really good CN friends that might come and help us with my birth. But I don't know if they legally can do that. We're still looking it up. But I know my midwife can come out here. She services this area, but only if nobody else is in labor. So if somebody else is in labor, I got to get in the car 4 hours and drive in labor. Or go down there and not have Justin with me for like 2 weeks of my pregnancy. So we'll see. But that's my birth story. I hope I made it in short enough amount of time. So if you guys have any questions, check me out on Facebook or write me here and I'll send you my link to Pregnant in 2012. It's just somewhere like when you can't sleep. I woke up at 4:30, I was 3:30 in the morning yesterday and could not go back to sleep. I wish there had been a bunch of people on my Pregnant 2012 so I could just chat about my pregnancy or whatever, because it's hard when you're pregnant. So we're here. I just started it, so check it out. I'll try to put a link underneath it, and I'll try to put pictures of me being so high I don't remember the picture or holding it. So have a good day, guys.